Good morning, students. I, Savia Parveen, welcome you all to the online session of class 12th chemistry. Students, till now we have done the expression for the integrated rate law, but here we have the application of rate law, that it is help us to calculate the value of R, exact value of R. Second, it also help us to find out the order of reaction. How do we find out the order of reaction with the help of integrated rate law? So here we have one example for the first order reaction, because most of the reaction that we have in our daily life, they follow the first order reaction. That's why it is more convenient to take the example of first order. The expression for the first order reaction is 2.303 log R naught, concentration of R naught upon concentration of R is equal to Kt. When we are plotting the graph against log of concentration of R versus time, so here the graph that we got is in negative. It means here the concentration with the passage of time is going on decreases. The concentration of reactant is going on decreases with the passage of time. Here the initial concentration that we can take is R naught, log of R naught, that is the initial concentration. By taking the slope of this one, we get the exact value of K, that is slope is equal to minus K upon 2.303. And by taking the two value of this slope with the help of Pythagoras theorem, we can easily get the value of K. Again here, by plotting the graph between log of concentration of R naught upon concentration of R versus time, here the slope it is in positive, and here we can get this by taking slope is equal to K upon 2.303. Again by taking the two value of the slope, here we will get the value of K. So this is the method by which we can calculate the order of reaction with the help of integrated rate law. These are the very important application of the integrated rate law expression. Now, as already I have discussed, that there are many type of reaction in which the reactant and the product both are in the gaseous form, so it would be little difficult to find out or to calculate the concentration of these type of reaction. That's why it would be more convenient to talk about the pressure for these type of reaction, or to calculate the pressure of these type of reaction. That's why for gaseous equation we are having the expression as, let's say here we have one reaction in which A dissociate to gives out B plus C. It is also a first order reaction which will give rise to B plus C, in which reactant A, that is in the gaseous form, product B and C both are in the gaseous form. So for the first order reaction, we have expression as K is equal to 2.303 upon T log of Pi minus upon Pf, where Pi it is the initial pressure, Pf it is the final pressure. So we know that whenever we are talking about the initial pressure, the product it do not have any of the pressure, like in terms we are considering as the concentration. Whenever we are talking about the initial concentration, reactant has some of the concentration, but at that time the product has zero concentration, and when we reaches to the final, some amount of reactant get converted into the product. Same we have to do here also. For initial, we have A gives out B plus C. Initial pressure of this one is taken as Pi, and for the product we have 0. For final we have Pi minus x, and for the product we have x and x for both B and C. P total is what? P total is PA plus PB plus PC. So we can write the value of PA, PB and PC as PA, PM. The value of PA is PI minus X, for PB it is plus X, and again for PC it is plus X. By cancelling minus X and plus X, we got PI plus X. And by shifting P together, we have X is equal to PT minus PI. With the help of this one, we got the value of X. Now we have to put this value of X to the equation, to the integrated rate law equation for first order, that is K is equal to 2.303 upon T log of PI minus PI upon PF. But here PF is what? PF is, if we have taken PF as PI minus PX, P final that is. So we know that at final some amount of X gets converted into the product, that's why PF is also written as PI minus X. So here we have to put the value of X, that is PT minus PI, already we have done here, see. This is the value of X. So by solving this we got 2 PI minus PT. This is the value of PF that we have to put into the above equation. Then finally we got the expression as K is equal to 2.303 upon T log PI upon 2 PI minus PT. This is the expression for the gaseous equation for first order reaction. Whenever we need to calculate K in terms of the gaseous equation for first order reaction, we have to follow this expression. But here one thing that we people have to keep in mind, that this reaction is applicable only when the number of moles of reactant and product are equal. See here in the above equation, here we have 1A, the coefficient is 1 in reactant also, and in the product also we have 1 mole for B, 1 mole for C. It means all are equal, that's why it is applicable for these type of reaction. Second, this expression is applicable only for the gaseous equation. These are the things that we people have to keep in mind. Next is what? For calculating the rate law for any chemical reaction, here we have some more type of graph. With the help of this graph we can calculate the rate of reaction. Like here we are plotting a graph between the rate versus the concentration of the reactant. So we know that in case of zero order, the rate is independent of the concentration of the reactant. Because it is independent, that's why the plot that comes, it is in the straight line. Because for the zero order reaction, rate of reaction do not depends on the concentration of the reactant. That's why the plot is like that. Okay. For the first order, here the rate of reaction is directly proportional to the concentration of the reactant. That's why here the plot, as the concentration is going on increases, rate of reaction also increases, because they are directly proportional to each other. That's why plot is like that. For the second order, only you have to write concentration of R square in place of concentration of R. For the second order we have to write concentration of R square versus rate of reaction. Here also we have the same plot for the second order. Only the difference between these two is that in place of concentration of R you have to write R square, that is for the second order. Okay. Now here we have one more thing, that is called to be as half-life period of a reaction. What do you mean by half-life period of a reaction? So half-life period of a reaction, it is the time when the concentration of the reactant is reduced to half. Whatever the concentration of the reactant, we have taken the half of this one. Okay, so it is denoted as T half. Here first we will do this half-life period for the zero order reaction. The integrated rate law expression for the zero order is R naught minus R, that is concentration of R naught minus concentration of R is equal to KT. For the half lifetime we have taken T half, in which the concentration of R is reduced to R naught upon half. Okay, we have taken the value of concentration of R as R naught upon 2. Now put the value of this one into the above equation, integrated rate law expression for the zero order. Here we got concentration of R naught minus R concentration of R naught upon 2 is equal to KT half. Now by taking the LCM of these, we have 2 concentration of R naught minus concentration of R naught upon 2. Here by subtracting this one, we got concentration of R naught upon 2 is equal to KT half. By shifting this K or multiplying this K with 2, we got T half is equal to concentration of R naught upon 2K, and this is the expression for the zero order reaction for half-life period. Okay, with the help of this one we can calculate the half-life period of reaction for the zero order reaction. Now for the first order, again first we have to write the integrated rate law expression for the first order, that is KT is equal to 2.303 log of concentration of R naught upon concentration of R. So again for time half, by reducing the time at T half, we have concentration of R as concentration of R naught upon 2. Here again we have to write the value of this R as R naught upon 2. By taking the value KT half is equal to 2.303 log concentration of R naught upon concentration of R upon 2. Here we have 2.303 log 2 by cancelling concentration of R naught both the sides. Now we know the value of log 2, that is 0.3010. So by multiplying the value of log 2 with 2.303, finally we got 0.693, and here we have the expression for the first order reaction for the half-life is T half is equal to 0.693 upon K. Okay, it is the expression for the first order reaction for half-life. With the help of this one, again we can calculate the value of T half, or we can also calculate the value of K with this expression. Okay, here we also came to know with the help of this expression that here this is independent of the concentration of the reactant. Here it do not have any relation with the concentration of the reactant. Okay, now same this half-life period for the second order reaction we have to do. Again here you have to write the integrated rate law expression for the second order, that is 1 upon concentration of R naught minus 1 upon concentration of R is equal to KT. By taking or by reducing the time at T half, R naught or concentration of R is taken as concentration of R naught upon 2. By putting these value, we have 1 upon concentration of R naught minus 1 upon concentration of R naught upon 2 is equal to KT half. Okay, now this 2 gets shifted above. We have 2 upon concentration of R naught minus 1 upon concentration of R naught is equal to KT half. Then finally we got the value as 1 upon concentration of R naught into K is equal to T half. This is the expression for the second order reaction for the half-life period. Okay, now these all are the expression. With the help of this or by taking this one, we will have lots of numericals on the basis of these. That's why there is need to know all these formulas, okay, for solving the numericals. Now here we have again the graph for these half-life period. Whenever we are plotting the graph between the half-life period versus the concentration of the reactant, initial concentration, then we will get for the first order. As we know that the first order, it is independent of the concentration of the reactant. That's why the graph that comes as a straight line. For the second order, here it is directly proportional to each other. That's why the plot is or the graph is going on increases, and here we got a line like this one. And here for the zero order, this is for the second order, and for the zero order again we have the same graph for the second order. Okay, but here the graph is between the T half versus concentration of R naught. These all are the graph. With the help of these graph, we people are able to know the half-life period for the reaction. Sometimes this type of graph might also be asked in your exam. Okay, so be prepared for the graph also. This graph will be given in your exam, and it would be asked that this will follow which type of order of reaction. So with the help of these graph, you are able to know the order of reaction. Okay, for today we have this much only. Rest of the thing we will discuss later in the next class. Thank you.